As 2020 draws to a close, we're all looking forward to the new 2021 and the good we hope it will bring. And around this time of year, it's not unusual to feel a little nostalgic while looking back on our memories as we prepare ourselves to make new ones. With that in mind, we decided to look at some of the greatest pop culture anniversaries that will happen in 2021. And we'd like to apologize beforehand because these are probably going to make you feel old, like really old. There's a significant difference between usual and creative advertising. Former is spammy and mostly product-centric. The second tends to focus on entertaining its viewers and offering a reward of some sort, whether it's a broad smile on the viewer's face or the satisfaction of understanding a pun or two. Many times, creative heads in the advertising domain have turned to pop culture in their efforts to come up with creative ideas that will make their viewers pause for a moment and ponder their stories. When it comes to TV shows, commercials, cartoons, video games, you name it, pop culture has forever been an inexhaustible source of inspiration for most. We grew up with pop culture and have been emotionally connected with our favorite stars, characters, products, and even commercials. So when it comes to discussing Kim Kardashian, Seinfeld, Peter Pan, or Superman, we are all literally pop cultured. What is iconic about the list of pop culture favorites today is that all of them are turning the big 5-0 in 2021. So, without further ado, here they are. Hamburger Helper. Hamburger Helper is a well-known packaged food item produced by General Mills and sold as part of Betty Crocker. It comprises boxed pasta dried with powdered seasonings stuffed in a packet. The product line features other starches, such as potatoes or rice. The contents of these boxes are combined with water, browned ground beef, and milk to help prepare a one-dish meal. There are variations of the product for other meats like chicken helper and tuna helper. Wondering how it even got started? The answer makes us revisit history once more. Beef prices were soaring in the U.S., and the economy had weakened, and that's when the king of boxed dinners was introduced on the West Coast. The year was 1970. Betty Crocker's Hamburger Helper guided families striving to stretch a pound of meat into a family dinner. With just a pan, a pound of hamburger, and a package, Hamburger Helper transformed dinner for thousands. It was convenient, economical, filled with variation, and enjoyed by the whole family. In 2005, Food Network rated it third on its list of top 5 fad foods of 1970. And in 2013, the company shortened the brand's name to only Helper. The Hamburger Helper's mascot is Lefty, or the helping hand, a 4-fingered white glove with a face with a red nose on the palm. Its appearance on TV commercial breaks in the 70s is still stuck in our minds. The Quarter Pounder from McDonald's. For about 3/4 of a century, McDonald's has been satisfying us with its mouth-watering burgers and beverages that taste the same anywhere you go, whether you're in Alaska or a trip to Alabama. However, the menu has undergone a massive transformation over the years. Can you recall when the Quarter Pounder was introduced? Well, we'll go back in time once again. It was introduced in 1971, following the footsteps of the Big Mac, which was introduced a few years before that. It became a part of the menu in 1973. The 4-ounce beef patty that was generously topped with mustard, ketchup, slivered onions, and 2 dill pickles placed carefully on a sesame seed bun was sold then for 60 cents. If you paid 10 cents extra, you had the option of upgrading to a Quarter Pounder loaded with cheese. Herbal Essences Shampoo. It's a fact of life that things change. For instance, certain foods don't taste the same as they did when we were young. Sometimes products are discontinued, leaving a huge hole in our hearts. And in some cases, public demand successfully brings them back. That got us thinking about the scents from our youth, especially the ones we miss. For many of us, the first thing that comes to mind is Herbal Essences shampoo and the original green bottle that featured a woman with her long hair in a pond nestled in the lap of Mother Nature. Clairol launched this product in 1972 and labeled it as one of the most beautiful experiences. Although the shampoo still exists today, it doesn't smell anything like the original. That perhaps gets us all the more nostalgic, making us wish we could time travel and capture its first scent in a bottle. Apparently, the shampoo contained organic scents of birch leaves, juniper, cinchona, mountain gentian, and also melissa. Yup, no other shampoo could have been more natural than Herbal Essences. So what happened to the wonderful, earthy scent that was loved in the 70s? Well, you'll need to ask Procter & Gamble, which purchased Clairol in 2001. Along the journey, Herbal Essence turned out to be Herbal Essences. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. In the vast amount of children's literature, Roald Dahl's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory from 1964 is worth mentioning because it was adapted into 2 versions. 6 years later, when Paramount adapted the classic for the big screen, the title focused on Willy Wonka, the unconventional confectioner. And rightfully so, because we can't help but admit he's a more interesting character. Oops, Charlie. Gene Wilder made the man delightfully witty, wicked, and warm. In 1971, Mel Stewart was the first director to adopt Roald Dahl's text, and in 2005, Tim Burton directed yet another adaptation. In it, a young boy wins a tour through the most splendid chocolate factory in the whole world, led by the most atypical candy maker. Monster cereals from General Mills. When fall leaves turn gold from green, and children's heads become preoccupied with ghosts, trick-or-treating, and pumpkins, we know good old Halloween favorites, Frankenberry, Boo Berry, and Count Chocula are lurking nearby. Launched to the delight of children worldwide, Count Chocula and Frankenberry were introduced as the first strawberry and chocolate-flavored cereals in the market. It was not just their marshmallow sweeties and sweet taste that won a kid's heart. It was the series of clever commercials that made children be in love with the monsters. In March of 1971, General Mills, a multinational manufacturer of consumer foods, first unveiled Frankenberry and Count Chocula onto breakfast bowls with sugar-loaded cereals that became a favorite in no time. In February of 1972, Frankenberry cereal was added in. The 3 remained constant throughout the years. Fruit Brute became a part of the fold in 1974 but got discontinued in 1982. In 1987, it was replaced by the fruity, yummy Mummy, which lasted until 92. But what was the best part about General Mills monster cereals? They'd always have some sweet prizes locked inside the boxes. We really miss those. Swamp Thing. During the 70s, comic publishing giants delved into horror, perhaps quite nostalgic for comics of the 50s. Along with all the good men in their capes and spandex, a new breed of anti-hero culture came to occupy the drugstore racks. Some notable titles were Werewolf by Night and Tomb of Dracula. Swamp Thing is a popular American superhero horror television series that was the brainchild of Mark Verheiden and Gary Dauberman for DC Universe, based on the DC Comics characters that held the same name. In Swamp Thing, a humanoid or a plant elemental creature was created by Len Wein, a writer, and Bernie Wrightson, an artist. Over time, it's had many a humanoid or monster incarnation in different but unique storylines. But what many of you might not know is the character made its first appearance in the House of Secrets number 92, in the set of standalone horror tales set in the early 20th century. The Oregon Trail computer game. Most Gen X and Millennial kids have at some point played Oregon Trail, an educational computer game. It's based on the path adopted by pioneers westward in the early days of American history. It was marked by time-intensive, unpredictable, and dangerous encounters along their journey. Today, you're more likely to come across, quote, "you've died of dysentery" in the form of a meme on social media. It's simply the game reference to a message used commonly in Oregon Trail. Due to its frequent appearance, the phrase has become a catchphrase often used by old-school game fans. Believe it or not, the Oregon Trail computer game dates way back to the 70s, 1971 to be precise. Back then, it sure didn't have the green and black high-tech 8-bit graphics. That was a later edition. It started as a text-based computer program. Some Minnesota educators had programmed the game for the students and distributed it later via public schools. Hopefully, talking about these elements of pop culture made us feel young again. What do you say? Were there any big pop culture elements from 1971 we missed? Let us know in the comments section. And before you move on, make sure you like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss another update.